Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, breaker of the 7 seals. Let's bring in our audio brothers and sisters from the fire zone. Welcome, brothers and sisters. This is the fire zone, the Black Alert section. Okay, brothers and sisters, we want to talk about the predators. Who are the predators? What are the predators? Brothers and sisters, as I've been telling you, let's make a couple changes here. You've been live since the first day you stepped on this continent, approximately 500 years ago. In 1555. They programmed you, took 64 years to do it, and transformed you into Negro butts. Non-thinking entities. Just robots. They do whatever you was told, no thinking required. You know, we talk about, they teach you in school about all the European civilizations. Notice they only talk about the European civilizations in school. They don't talk about the Oriental or the Asian. Only talk about the European. And they glorify them. Rome, Greece, what do you call this guy? Alexander the Great. Caesar. All these people were predators. They were predator empires. Even the British Empire. It was a world empire, the first global empire, European global empire. British. They were predators. They were not taking other people's stuff. That's what the Romans did. They weren't self-sufficient. They were empires because they went and took other people's stuff. So for Greece, they celebrate Alexander the Great. He was a conqueror. Why was he going conquering people? They wasn't bothering him. They went taking other people's stuff. And that's what he's doing. America has made a science out of it. Because America got powerful by taking other people's stuff. That's what a predator is. And they lie to you about it. They glorify that. But if you try to do something like that, oh man, you're terrorists. But that's how they got powerful, by taking other people's stuff. As it says, they would go out seeking to steal, kill, and destroy. They steal other people's stuff and kill the people off. And if people resist, they kill them. And they destroyed nations. They destroyed our nation. I mean, it's clear enough who they are. Anyone doesn't know who they are is because they don't want to. See? And see, let me make a little note here. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, here it is. They're predators. When they came, the ones that came to North America, called conquistadors. They were thieves and robbers. They glorify this because that's who they are. They glorify that because that's who they are. I mean, they have, Who else going to glorify it? Because that's what they are, so they glorify it. But they say, well, that's great. Those are great people. They came over here stealing, killing people. They was conquistadors. And they celebrate them. They celebrate Columbus. See? He was a slaver, an oppressor, a thief, and a robber. This is what they do, brothers and sisters. But they tell you, no. Right? See? Yeah, we were great people. Those are great civilizations. At first, they weren't even civilizations. There wasn't nothing civil about them. Yeah. They were predators. And America has made the predatory ideal. They've made it a virtue. And they give it great names like capitalism. And they want to tell you, they say, well, capitalism took more people out of poverty than anything. Really? No, capitalism impoverished people. It impoverished people. It impoverished people everywhere it went. When they left out of Europe, they had turned Europe into a shithole. They was locked up in there for 1,000 years, as chapter 20 of Revelation tells you. That's why I try to tell you that's the future, the millennia. No, it's past, because they don't want you to identify who they are. See, because chapter 20 identifies who they are. They say, oh, that's the future. When Jesus come back and all this stuff, no, that's the past. They was locked up in the Dark Ages in Europe for 1,000 years, right? And it was kept under there by the resurrected Prophet Muhammad Empire. And after 1,000 years, they would go out and cover the whole world. 2 world empires, Gog and Magog. It says it right there. And that's America and Britain. It's only 2 world empires, European world empires that you know about. Gog and Magog. That's who we know who Gog and Magog is. First Britain, and then America. 2 world empires. That's chapter 20. They came out and impoverished the world. And they call it capitalism. Capitalism is a predatory system. See? They didn't find capitalism any place they went. I mean, those civilizations were doing fine. China was doing fine. Japan was doing fine. Africa was doing fine. People over here in this hemisphere was doing fine. They didn't have capitalism. They was doing fine. They was doing fine. At peace and prosperity and health. Didn't have disease and conflicts. Not to the extent that the Europeans had anyway. See? They didn't have any of that. They didn't have poverty. They didn't have any of that. The Europeans brought it with them. They impoverished the people. Capitalism impoverished the people. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for you, brothers and sisters. What's the ultimate game of capitalism? Profit. Profit. The maximum profit. To get the most profit. And what's that? That's slavery. That means you get work and you have to pay anything. There's no overhead. That's the maximum ideal of capitalism. Maximum profit. Slavery. In other words, you get work and you have to pay for it. Don't you understand, brothers and sisters? That's capitalism. Exploitation. That's what profit is. Exploitation. It means you don't pay the people as much as they deserve. The less you can pay them for the work they did, the more profit you make. It's exploitation. But they glorify, oh no. Capitalism got more people out of poverty. No, it impoverished people. It destroyed our nation. Slavery was a capitalist system. That's the maximum. That's the ultimate level of capitalism. That means you have to pay. You get work, but you have to pay for it. Don't you understand, brothers and sisters? It's a lie. It's a lie. And that's the problem they have right now. See, the problem they have right now is that See, capitalism and democracy, that's another lie. See, but you don't understand. Oh man, we can do, really? We can do what we want to do, really? Okay, democracy says the majority has to, the minority, they have to obey the minority, has to obey the majority. That means the majority is tyrannical against the minority. See? So who say the majority is right? Okay, take your body for instance. If you take your body, you says, now you got a mind, you have a body. So you say, okay, the body's going to control the mind. So the mind does whatever the body wants to do. Right? How long do you think you're going to survive in that situation? See, you just do whatever, the body does whatever it wants to do. Eat whatever it wants. So the next thing you know, you got diabetes, you're sick, got heart trouble and everything else. You're not going to live very long because the mind's not there to discipline it. It needs the mind to discipline it. You see? It means the mind to discipline it. See, that's the same thing with democracy. See, in other words, the other way around is that the leaders have to obey the masses. And you say, well, wait a minute, we can vote. Yeah, but your vote really don't count, does it? Your vote really doesn't count, does it? Because it's filtered in with everybody else's. So if the majority of people are just dumb, then you got to go along with dumbness. So you have intelligent leaders know what's going on. They have to obey whatever the majority wants. It's a dumb system. And the thing is that they say, well, that's the best system there is. Yeah, but that's not the system that they claim that God wants. That's not the system they claim that God wants. Because God says he's a dictator. And they hate dictators. They kill dictators. They despise dictators in this country. They despise them. See, they take down dictators and kill them. But Jesus would be a dictator. They said they were going to make a war against God. You better pay attention to these scriptures, brothers and sisters, because this system is totally against God. Jesus said, it's my way or the highway. And if you got to whip me, you're against me. And if you disobey me, your ass is going to hell. At least that's what they say. So in other words, and there ain't going to be no vote. I say how it's going to be, and you do it. Otherwise, your ass is going to hell. That's a dictator. But they hate dictators, but they say they love Jesus. So in other words, they're going to vote whether Jesus be Jesus or not. And if he shows up, right, they don't have to, they're going to be democracy, tell Jesus what they want, he has to do it. You think that's what's going to happen? No. See, that's not the type of system God sets up. He sets up one from the top down. In other words, right, he sets the rulers, the people that are most intelligent, and they rule the other people. That system he sets up, kings, but you don't like that system. You don't like God's system, you like Satan's system. See? And you don't pay attention to stuff, brothers and sisters. You say, oh man, we have freedom. Do you have freedom? They didn't give you freedom. You had freedom before you came here. They took freedom away from you for 400 years. And you still don't have freedom now because you're under their control. We're a nation under their control, following their rules, their laws, or they put us in prison. Or they kill us. We got to follow their laws and their rules, or they kill us. Or put us in prison. So how are we free? Oh, I can do my own thing. Well, when you was in Africa, you did your own thing. See, you was the most freest people on the planet when you was at home. You see, they took freedom from you. Capitalism impoverished you. See, this so-called democracy, it took your freedom away from you. See, everything they tell you is the opposite. Like I tell people, anything the devils tell you, probably the opposite is true. Oh, you had freedom before you came here. It took it away from you for 400 years, and you're still not free now. You're not free now. You're not free to do it as you please. You're not free to run your nation like you want to run it. You have to obey their laws. and that which are contrary to us. You see what they did? Okay, you fought for civil rights, right? See, now as a people, I'm not talking about the demons now. As a people, we're not naturally averse to sexual perversion. Naturally averse to that. But now the homosexuals, they took up, say, well, we minorities, man, and they don't act like they have something to do with our cause. See, they adopted our cause, so in other words, they associate themselves with us. We have no associate with them. But see, the majority, you have to go along with that. Why do we have to go along with that? If we have our own nation, we don't have to go along with that. But over here, go along with whatever they tell you to go along with, because this is you're in master's house. You're not free. And the demons are the one telling you you're free. See? Because they're skin folk. They're not kinfolk. They're master's children. They look like us. Wolves in sheep clothing. You're not free. America's the worst predator ever. They impoverish people, right? They and genocide on a mass scale. But see, they got issues. I'm gonna try to go into this with a lot of detail. Well, this is really a subject that really requires some deep study and a lot of detail and stuff. I'm not gonna do that here. I'm just gonna come in a general way as best I can. Hopefully you pick it up. There's a book called Iron Mountain Report. They kind of hid it. In fact, they banned it. But you can find it on the internet if you search for it. At least I did a few years back, and it still was there. But it came out in the 60s. And they say that President Kennedy commissioned the report. And if you can get your hand on that book, you'll see it. That's probably why he got his head blown off. Because it's going to kind of give a basic understanding of what I'm getting ready to go into. See, they're predators. They took other people's stuff. That's how they became great and powerful. See, and they had to keep forcing people to take their stuff. In other words, they took a nation, and the nation had to pay them tribute or whatever on a regular basis, or give them 10% or whatever. That's Rome, Greece, all of them. America does the same thing. But see, capitalism requires you have to sell stuff. That's part of it too. See? And so they have economic crisis that they're not telling you about. Because they have to sell stuff. If they can't sell stuff, the whole economy collapses. See? And so if they don't have anything to sell, the economy collapses. They have to sell stuff. The more they sell, right, to keep the economy going. So they have to have a market, right, that's willing to buy that stuff. Now, the problem with it is that they have to have an unlimited market, because when the market stops. It's like a doctor. If a doctor heals his patients, he won't have any patients anymore. So he cannot still heal his patients. He cannot do it. That's why you see a lot of stuff going on. They will not, if they came up with a pill that healed everybody, they would never give it to the public, because that would kill, the doctor would never allow it. Would never allow it. So America, it's a complicated thing, so I'm trying to do it the best I can. You need people, and you need a market. You need people, the bigger the market, the better, to buy stuff, and you have to create the need for them to want to buy it. And then you have to have the means for them to buy it. See? Because that's what the economy is based on. But the more people there are, right, that means the more you need, because people need, they need water, need food, and different things like that, right? So you have to feed them. But see, the earth produces so much food on a regular basis, so at some point, right, there's not enough food for everybody. See? But you need more people. And the food supply cannot keep up with the population. See, that's a problem right there. See? But you need more and more people. to keep these corporations strong and keep them. See, in other words, they back in the 50s and 60s, they had this thing called planned obsolescence. Planned obsolescence. Planned obsolescence. PLAN. Planned obsolescence. And this was a policy that was followed by the auto industry, like General Motors and Chrysler. They followed that policy. And really, when I used to buy cars from American Cars back then, they pretty much only last 3 years, because they was made to last no more than 3 years. This might give you some idea how the problem works. And the reason was because they wanted to be able to sell more cars. The more cars they sell, the better it was. That kept the economy going. So in other words, if your car broke down after 3 years, you buy another one. So, because if it didn't, right, then you would buy another car so that market would slow down. See? Because if they made a car that lasts forever, and everybody had one after a while, be nobody to sell cars to. See, so by only last 3 years, that's how Japan was able to take over the car market, because they said, okay, we're going to make a car last 10, 11 years. So people start buying Nissans and things like that there because they last longer. You see, and that was a near fatal blow to Detroit. See. So to deal with those type of problems, Nixon had to come up with a solution. He's probably one of the smartest presidents they had as far as dealing with this kind of stuff. They didn't like him, but the world you're living in right now is pretty much Nixonian world, because he's a couple of moves. He opened up China, because remember they need more people, they need bigger markets. So he opened up China, but then what happened? It backfired because China became a world power. They didn't, because China was a basket case back then. Same thing with India. Turned into a democracy, and so things start backfiring on, but they need those markets. And China said, no, we can produce our own stuff. And then he made a petrodollar by going to Saudi Arabia and says, well, only time that, because they was the primary oil producer at the time, said, only time you can, everybody wants to buy gold had to use American money. So that's how they had control of everybody's economic systems, because if they wanted to purchase oil, they had to use US dollars, and who controlled US dollars? So there's a couple of moves he made trying to correct a system that can't be corrected. See? So you went up to gold standard, that means your money means whatever they say it means. See, before they tied to gold, which is, that's kind of has its own difficulties too. I'm not going to that. But it was on the gold standard, they took off the gold standard. And you couldn't even own gold. So your money wasn't worth, it was worth whatever they said it was. Before it was worth, it was tied to gold, right? So if a dollar was worth a tenth of an ounce of gold, then you could turn it in and get 10th of an ounce of gold. So you had something to relate to. But they had to get away from that because they knew that the economy would collapse if they stayed on the gold standard. See, because it would be obvious that, but the way now they say the money is what they want to make it, have it. So now you can't see the disaster coming. If it was tied to gold, you could see it coming. You could see it 1,000 miles away. But now they say money is whatever they want it to be. Now you can't see it. And America's in extreme debt. See, but you can't see it. And then they play these games where, well, let me just go there. They have to stabilize this. In other words, the more chaotic the country is in all countries, the more profit they can make. See? Let me just say this. See, they're playing games with the money. That's why, Gaddafi and Saddam, they made a mistake when they said it was going to get off the American dollar and they wanted gold or something else. That's why they got killed, not because of other BS. But they have to, destabilize. In other words, take America for instance. Okay, the more crime you have, the better it is for the economy. Why? Why is it? Because crime, right, means lawyers. You gotta pay lawyers. You gotta pay insurance, right? Because if everything was stable, why would you need insurance? You had to pay as much for insurance because maybe for weather or something like that there, right? Hospitals, people get hurt. You see, police. See, as you put people to work. Because if you didn't have any crime, then lawyers wouldn't make as much money. You wouldn't need as many lawyers. You wouldn't need as many doctors. You see what I'm saying? You wouldn't need insurance. That slows the system down. So crime is good. Destabilization is good. Divorce is good. Why? Because divorce makes the economy hum. Why? Because see, that's why they made no fault divorce, because it's easy to get a divorce. Before it was very difficult to get a divorce, because now lawyers, they in there, and then when you break this up, now people gotta, cost the money. If you break families up, now they gotta go and buy new stuff, right? You see what I'm saying? So this stabilization is good for the economy. They can't tell you that. They can't tell you that. See? And so now the point is that the markets have to keep it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Remember I said eventually as the market is bigger, then you got a problem with sustaining the market as far as feeding them and everything else, because Earth produces only so much. So now you need a bigger market, but can you afford? Can you provide for a greater market? And that's the thing they got. They got these two lines, go crossing each other, right? They're conflicting each other. We need a bigger market, right? But we can't afford to sustain a bigger market. But to keep this system going, we need bigger and bigger markets. That's why I opened China up. That's why I opened up India. That's why they opened up Japan. You don't know about that, but they forced Japan. Admiral Perry went over there and that story. That book was that with Tom Cruise, the Samurai. There's some truth to that, but you didn't see. They didn't tell you the backstory on that. The backstory is Admiral Perry went over there because there was a feudal society. They didn't really bother anybody, and Admiral Perry told me, "You got to open your society up, otherwise we're going to blow you away." And so that's how then you see all the other stuff they tell you about it in the book Samurai, in that story movie. See, they don't tell you all the facts. Why do you keep opening up all these? Look at Britain. Britain was a predatory. Britain didn't. There was an island country. There was an island country just like Japan. They had no resource. They had to go take them about. That's how it became a world empire. But the problem is that, like I said, after a while, you get to the point where you need bigger markets, but you can't feed the bigger markets. So what do? After a while, all the people on the planet would not be enough to keep this thing going. Plus, you got competition with other. Now they got a competition with China because they're the world power. They got competition with Russia. See, they can't keep this system going. They know they can't keep it going. It has to be just stable. They have to stay. Just like, for instance, the Middle East, they had a hard time breaking in the Middle East economically. They need that market. They need to sell stuff to these people. And they was very conservative people. And they don't have no banks or anything. They wouldn't involve in any of that. And they said, well, we need that market. We need to sell stuff. So they went out and destabilized the whole Middle East. Well, they start wars with them and everything else. Then what happens is when they blow up everything, then they send their people in there, because once they blow stuff up, they need new raw materials. Where they get that from? They buy it from America. America sends their engineers and architects in there to rebuild for them. See, but when they stabilize, first they sell them weapons. You understand? So they sell weapons first to get them to fight with each other. See. So they're making money that way, and then when they destroy everything, then they have some American companies in there to rebuild and everything else. See, they have to keep the money coming in, to keep the standard of living at a certain level. So they just stabilized the whole Middle East because they wasn't making any money off the Middle East, so they stabilized it so they can make money off of it. That's what it's all about, brothers and sisters. It's not about what you think. It's not about religion. It's about money. It's about this system, this predatory system. And they're not going to tell it to you like that. But that's what it is. See? But you think, oh man, I'm a capitalist. You don't even understand what that means. Because remember, capitalism would enslaved us. It's a predatory system, and it cannot be sustained. See, because if they all the people on the planet, it would not be enough after a certain period of time. See, and then again, you still got to feed them, and they run out of ability to feed the people because they're using up all the topsoil. That's why you hear talking about they got to cut the population down. They can't come and tell you the actual truth, and so they're making plans right now to cut the population down. They plan on, why you think they fighting with nuclear war? Because they plan on just getting rid of 5 or 6 billion people. Because they cannot afford to sustain them and they can't afford to feed them. See, and they have to get a new system because they know the system will not work. It cannot work. They tell me it's working, but look, America's constantly at wars. It's not because it's ideological. It's because of capitalism, economics. Nixon on his way out, he wrote a book called "The Next War Would Be a War based on economics." He's right. I told you the guy was pretty much a genius when it comes to this kind of stuff. When he was in there, but they didn't like him because he made all kinds of moves to try to correct this and try to sustain it. But he said the last war would be an economic war, and he's true because that's what it is. See. So they need bigger and bigger markets to sell that stuff. And so they have to, and the more unstable the situation is, the more money they can make. A stable situation, they don't like that. Because they can't make any money there. See? Crime steals cars, okay, you gotta buy a new car. You gotta buy insurance. See? Put people to work. The lawyers are never gonna come up with anything they come with all these different laws and stuff to make things more complicated so they can stay in power because they don't want to make the laws. They can stay rich. It's a predatory, brothers and sisters. It's always been that way, and for them it always be that way. But we have to shortcut it. We have to take it, short circuit it, and we're going to do that. Oh man, we're not going to have a democracy. We're not going to have well, you better read the Bible again, and the Quran says Allah is at war with the usurers, the capitalists. He's at war with them. We think of win that war. See? And in the Bible it says that Jesus is a dictator. They don't like dictators. They're going to make war with the dictators. See? They won't come out and tell you Jesus is a dictator, but just read it. You do what he tell you to do, you go in hell. And you're not going to be able to vote. Brothers and sisters, you're at loss. They program you, transform you into a Negro butt, and then you've been lost for 40 years and you don't have no idea anything I'm talking about. Because if you had any idea what I'm talking about, you'd probably be shaking your boots because where is this taking us? Where is this going? They got to cut the population down because they can't afford to feed them. And they want to take the population down before the population realize, because they remember what happened to Marie Antoinette, right, in France. See, when they couldn't feed the people were starving, she said, hey, let them eat cake. They said no, her head was rolling down the avenue from a guillotine. They don't want that to happen. So they got to take you out first before they even come to that. They cannot feed all the people. And why should America keep feeding you, black person? They don't want you here. They already got everything they want out of you. See? So they don't need you. What do they need you for? You been to Walmart lately? They tell you they're making uh, um, mechanizing everything, automating everything, driverless cars. They're not gonna need you for that. What are they gonna need you for? See, you're not gonna have any jobs. Jobs will be gone. Then what are they gonna need you for? They're gonna give you money? No, they're gonna get rid of you. They got very good plans to get rid of you right now in progress. That's what Angel tells us. They got to get rid of you. You're gonna be the first to go. They're not. When it comes, they put when in World War II they put all the Japanese in concentration camps, didn't they? They put any Germans in concentration camps. Think about it. They put all the Japanese in America in concentration camps and made their sons go to war, help fight the war against Japan. And Hitler was the greatest enemy, but they put Germans in concentration camp. Ask yourself that, brothers and sisters. You're going to be the first to go because they don't need you. They don't want you anymore. And they can't want to feed you because you're drained on them, right? Because there's not enough food to feed everybody, right? And so when it comes to America, they can cut you out first. And they got plans in motion just to do that. Hope you understand, brothers. Just like I said, I'm talking over general. I'd like to really go into a lot of detail about this, but not here. See, they cannot sustain this system, so they have to replace it with a system. But they can't tell you that. But you see, right now, they're really abusing this system they have. I mean, they're not respected at all because they know they plan to get rid of it. But to get rid of you first. Get rid of you first. How they plan to get rid of you? Now, there's a lot of ways. I've mentioned a couple of them already. But see, they're driven by money, not about morality. They have no morality. They say their morality is money. What capitalism is all about money. Okay. And they got our people so struck with fear, and they scared to even think about these type of things. They'd rather just be blind and dumb, watch NFL, NBA. I give, for instance, in the Old Testament, I think it's Exodus, they talk about this brass serpent. Now you need to understand Daniel. Daniel is part of Revelation because it's the 13th chapter. Daniel has 12 chapters. The 13th chapter of Revelation is the 13th chapter of Daniel, because that has the symbols that's in Daniel, just not placed anyplace else in the angel. Anyway, that's another story. So in Daniel, they got this statue, head of gold, then silver, right, chest and everything, then stomach and everything made of brass, and then legs made of iron. And you ask yourself, why these sequence of events? Why this metallic sequence? You ever ask yourself that? Brothers and sisters, you need to deprogram yourself. And the way you deprogram yourself is start asking questions and stop accepting anything unless it be proven. And to go back and edit everything you know and start anything that can be proven. Okay. But anyway, you got gold, silver, brass, iron. So the reason why I give you that, because brass, if it shine up, it can appear to be gold. And iron, if it shine up, can appear to be silver. Because that silver you got in the house is not silver, it's iron. See? So they're telling you something there. They're telling you something. They're telling you that, see, these are different, they tell you they're different nations. So the first nation was the original nation, said it covered the whole world. See, they don't explain that to you. And then came the African nation. See, we're two separate, we're generally the same people, but they're two different tribes. Then came the Jewish nation, the brass nation, see, who pretended to be gold. Did that ring any bells? They pretend to be gold. They would pretend to be gold. See, there's that uh, what I call it, ID, ID theft. See, identity theft. Then you got the iron, pretending to be silver. Oh, what? Oh, well, what did they tell you? Don't they tell you that Egypt is really all Caucasian and stuff like that? And that's bullshit. But that's what the story. That's what they tell you that. So therefore, you get the definition of what the breast represents: the Jewish people. See, and you get the angel. You find they also represent. You have two people that represent the serpent, but they represent the serpent too. And Europeans represent little serpents. See, but false Israel represents the big serpent that controls all little serpents. So once you understand that, then you can start looking at that verse about the brass serpent, because they was told to because the people was being bit by the serpents, and they didn't know what to do. They was plagued by these serpents. See, so they went and asked the answer. They was told, okay, take a brass serpent, put him on a stick, and everybody looks up to that, worships that, which look up at that brass serpent, right? See, they won't be bothered by the little serpents anymore. Little serpents won't bite them anymore. That's our condition, brothers and sisters. Because little serpents are the white folks. See, and the big serpent on the stick, right? That's the cross. You got a Jew on the stick, on the cross. And black folks, they so scared of these white folks because of 400 years of slavery and everything. They so scared, especially the females. They were scared of them, right? Because they're little serpents. They're so afraid of them. So therefore, they say they keep their slave names, and they say, "I'm Christian." See, because they can worship the cross, and they worship Jesus. So, because they think that's going to keep white folks from attacking them. They're so afraid of them. That's how bad we are, brothers and sisters. That's what that brass serpent stuff represent. See, because they're false Israel pretending to be us, identity theft. See, anybody that worships them, that's the three beasts again. See. So in other words, hello Christian, and my name is Andy Richardson. You see, so they won't bother you. That's what that story's all about, brothers and sisters. See, because they turn into Negro butts, and they want to make sure you stay a Negro butt. You get reprogrammed. No light comes in from anywhere, right? Because you stay a Negro butt. See, but they don't want you here anymore. So they got to get rid of you. Look at. I get another analogy, right? Like I'm just talking around, just covering a few things, bro. Says try to make a point here. You take a person. I've used this before. A person they're ugly as hell. They're butt ugly. Worse than butt ugly. But they don't know it. They never seen a mirror before, and they never seen themselves before. And everybody knows, man, they really ugly, but they don't want to hurt the person's feeling. So everybody tell them, you look good. You really look good. And years later, lo and behold, he runs to a mirror. Oh man, damn. First he don't believe what he's seeing. See? Then he looks again, and damn, I am ugly. I'm ugly as hell. See, it's gonna blow his mind. But the first thing he's gonna do is get rid of that mirror, destroy it. And that's what's happening here, brothers and sisters, because false Israel is about to go down. See? And we the true seed of Abraham, we the mirror. See, because we have a mirror, right? You see image in there, but you see the original thing, and the image is just the image. It's the real thing. It's making the image. So they're going to say, okay, they're going to break the mirror. So they're going to get rid of us because we're the ones we're the reason why they're as ugly as they are. See? Because They did all kinds of evil, but they claim that we're Ham. We're descendants of Ham. We're born to be slaves. We're cursed black. So it was okay to do what they did to us. But when they find out we're true to Abraham, that's like seeing that mirror. They can't stand it. And they don't want to they don't want to realize that that's who they are. They're ugly as hell. So they get rid of the mirror. They get rid of us. Because if we true to Abraham, then that means they're monsters. They just come out and make, they like I said, they come out to kill, steal, and destroy. Right? You see what they did to the Indians, the Americans, right? All the evil things they did to us. So if we're true to Abraham, they can't, no, I'll kill them. See, that's the mirror. Get rid of it. That's why it says when you see the abomination of desolation, that means false Israel goes down. See, that means they being confronted with the mirror. That's us. Then we're true to Abraham, and they can't be in hell. They have to get rid of us immediately. Hope you understand that analogy, brothers and sisters. But we talk about the predators. So they have to come up with a new system. That's why they're moving. If you pay attention, brothers and sisters, turn the NBA off, if I don't stop paying attention, they're building a new reality, a robotic reality, a cyborg. We're just cyborgs. It's like it's a robot body, right, but it has a human brain. You see? That's a cyborg. And they're moving fast trying to accomplish that. See? See, they're getting pretty close to it. See? They need a robotic body and being put a brain in it. A human brain. See? That's a cyborg. If they have a war, the cyborg can survive the war. See, it won't be influenced by radiation and all that stuff. It just has to make sure to protect the brain. The rest of it is metallic. If somebody's foil, they just put another one. See, so they got to take and eradicate at least 3/4 of the planet. See? And cyborg is immune to biological disease and stuff, which is killing them. You don't understand, brothers and sisters. And you will not have access to a body like that. That's like a Lamborghini body, probably start out cost a few $1 million. You will not have access to a body like that. And you'll be exposed to all the stuff that they're going to bring to existence as a result of this war they're trying to start. See? Because they know once they get that, then what they have is just the powerful and rich that can afford that body. And the robots that will take it, because they don't have to worry about, don't have to feed the robot, but they have to feed them energy. You see? But they're going to do all the work and everything, and because they cannot sustain this system, what they're doing. Now, it's not going to work out that way because we're going to put a halt to it. But I'm trying to get you to understand where they're coming from. See? So you don't make any stupid mistakes between now and then, like taking that jab and all that kind of stuff. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. They're predators. They've always been, always will be, because predators are leeches. Right? That's what a predator is. They take, and they can't produce anything. Or they leave you anemic when they get finished. And so you about to go down with them because America's in judgment. And here you are, you worried about America's enemies. Oh, like they're your enemies. Unless you're a demon, they're not your enemies. Why are you going to take and help Master win a war when after they've done everything to you, they don't care about you. And when it goes down, they're going to put your ass in concentration. You're going to be in concentration camp in a few more days. See? You see. So if you put yourself in that position, then when judgment comes, you're going to go down with them. That's why it says, come out, my people, so you will not partake of their judgments and their plagues. Just like Sodom and Gomorrah. They was told, hey, a hailstorm is coming now. You got to get the hell out of town fast. See? And that's what's coming. This war is on the horizon. This war with Russia right now and Ukraine, that's not it. It's going to be the war in the Middle East that's going to break men's hearts failing for fear of those things coming upon the earth, because the powers of heavens will be shaken. It's not talking about some place beyond the stars and moons. It has to be clear. Otherwise, how would they know that the powers of heavens will be shaken if it wasn't some invisible that they can see? Who's in the power of the Middle East? America, Britain, and false Israel. That means their power is about to be broken. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I'm trying to give you a brief idea of what's going on here. There's a whole lot more to it than that. See? But capitalism, democracy, it's all part of this predatory system. See, the Europeans America just made science out of it. But that's exactly what the British was doing. They was going to take it from people all over the world. They took India, they took Africa, they took every place they could find, taking stuff from people. And now America's doing the same thing. They just got a different, more sophisticated way of trying to say it, so you don't understand it. They got more control over the media. That's another story too. The media is not a free media, brothers and sisters. Who pays the media? The advertisements do. Without the advertisement, they won't have no media. So they do what the corporations tell them to do, or they SOL. So it's not free. There's no freedom here. And you were free before you came here. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. They have to get rid of you. They have to get rid of lots of people. They have to get rid of you specifically. See? They bring in a new world. See? They bring in a new world. See? They have to get rid of all these people. See? Electromagnetic, electronic, mechanical, mechanical electronic. Well, I'm not saying that correctly, but there's a cyborg. In other words, right? It's a robotic and electronic, the same, but it's a cyborg. It's got a human brain, a metallic body, right? Means it's totally oblivious to disease and all those type of things, because that's what's killing them, because they're against biology, they're against our biological nature that we created everything in, and so they're at war with it. So when they come into that and have a war, once they come to that, then you would not be survived out here in radiation and everything else without a suit like that. That's another way to get rid of you. That's what they have to do, brothers and sisters. That's where they're moving towards very fast, because they know this capitalist system can't maintain it. They would need, that's why they need people on not just this planet, but people on other planets. That's why they need all people in the universe wouldn't be able to sustain it, because that's the way it drives. They need bigger and bigger markets. They keep this going, and it can't have to be unstable, because that's how people keep buying. If you gotta, you buy stuff basically because what you need. If you don't need it, and you ain't buy anything. That slows the market down. But see, when you go in the Middle East, those people, some of them been living in the neighborhood in a house for like 1,000 years. You don't have anything like that over here. I mean, I don't think I've ever stayed in any place more than 2 years. I'm 73 years old. Constant moving, constant volatility. See, constant chaos. That's good for the markets. That's good for capitalism. They can't tell you that. Remember that book, Iron Mountain Report? It talks about things like that. See? They stabilize the whole Middle East so they can sell stuff to it. Sell engineers, sell rebuilding and everything. You know? They sell guns to start off with, to start the conflict. Then they go and say, well, we got help. We're going there because everybody's killing each other and everything else, because they started to begin with. Then they go in there and they take control, and they say, no, they're moving their doctors and lawyers and stuff in there. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. They're predators. They've been lying to you about everything. They cannot withstand this system much longer. They have to make a change. And war is part of it. That's part of that fixing their calculus. getting rid of us is a major part, because now they can use that as a means to get rid of us. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I'm going to leave it there. I think there's going to be a part 2, but I'm going to leave it there because I didn't want to go into a lot of detail. I just want to give some heads up so you understand. Because your days are numbered here, but you have a choice. Okay? Get behind this message. Nobody asked you for anything. Nobody's telling you anything. Get behind this message. Get your name in the Lamb's Book of Life so you escape all. That says praise. You escape all this thing. With hell and damnation is coming down. It's coming down fast. The judgment. Because these people won't receive all they've done. See? But they've been thinking that false Israel, true Abraham, when false Israel goes down, right? It's like that mirror. They're going to have to wipe you out because the truth going to go out immediately, right? We true Abraham, and we've impressed these people. What does that mean in their mind? It means, hey, we weren't supposed to be slaves. We was God's, God's apple, the apple of His eye. See, that means who that make them? That makes them genocide maniacs. See, rapists, thieves, destroyers. And they don't want to think that way. They don't want that mindset. So they have to do everything they can to try to stop it. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I think we're going to leave it there. Let's go close out to see here. Oh, I have a sound problem. Didn't realize that. Oh. Well, I don't know what to do about it because sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. Okay, well I'm going to have to do a redux on this one for my audio family. Okay, well, I'll probably go back later on today and redo this and find what the problem, listen to it, see what the sound problem is, because there's no way you can tell while you're producing this how the sound is coming across. There's no way you can tell. You have to wait till you finish doing it. And I'm new to this anyway. Okay, well, thanks for Rhyme to let me know. I will look into it and see if I can resolve it. Okay, well, for my audio family out there, audio listeners, this is Fire Zone, the Black Alert section, out. And for let's see if I have a problem over here with my video section. Okay, brothers and sisters, I'm going to close out here. Assalamu alaikum.